The Hyundai Santa Fe is one of those three-row crossovers that straddle the line between compact and midsize. For over $50,000 fully loaded, you can also get it as this Calligraphy Hybrid. No major changes for 2026, but let's go for a drive. Let's take a look at the interior, which is a real standout among any Santa Fe model, and let's see how it really stacks up this year. The Santa Fe was brand new for 2024, and the Santa Fe Hybrid is one of 5 hybrid SUVs the company makes. This one straddles the line between a compact and a midsize. It's slightly bigger than a Tucson, but it's not as big as the Palisade. It's an in-between model, and for a lot of people, this might be just the right size. The Santa Fe is low and it's long. It's also very blocky. If you're thinking Land Rover Defender, you're thinking right. Whether it's hybrid or not, all of the Santa Fe trims have this LED front with the H pattern LEDs for the DRLs. H is really the theme inside and outside the car. It goes everywhere, including on the taillights. Now, I think the back end kind of slopes down like an Amish buggy. It almost looks like dog bones when its turn signals are on. I don't know, I'm not really a fan there. Some of the colors of this car also, it's kind of worn off on me. When this car came out, I was like, hey, this is pretty interesting. And now I'm starting to think, I kind of want them to redesign it again. I don't know, Hyundai is like that. There's some hits, there's some misses. The good portions of this car though are in the paint. This is ultimate red, it's an extra charge option. And on the calligraphy, you're getting these more delicate looking 20-inch black wheels. I also like a lot of the black upper trim along the window glass. That to me looks more high-end. This little portion here in the back is also supposed to be a little tab, so you put your hand in there and step on the tire so you can go to the roof rack. I don't really think that's needed, but it is cleanly integrated, so I'll give them that. Overall, portions of this car look good, portions of it look disjointed. The Santa Fe Hybrid has Napa leather if you're ordering the calligraphy trim, heated and cooled front seats, and the driver's seat has a relaxation seat. So if you have one button press, it even has a calf rest that raises and will recline your seat within a few seconds. So if you want to take a nap while you're waiting for someone, this is the car to do it in. While there's dual wireless phone chargers and dual 12.3-inch displays, there's enough analog controls in here. And even though this center stack is largely touch sensitive, there's enough buttons and touch points. And the fake wood is actually pretty convincing. The colorway inside here is also pretty attractive. Unlike most SUVs in this segment, these captain chairs are powered for the recline and also for the cushion tilt. Something you don't often find. Fore and aft movement, that's still manual, but on this calligraphy trim, they are still trimmed in Napa leather and they're heated. And auto up, power down windows. That's another luxury, kind of shouldn't be, but it is. That's only on this top trim, also for these back windows, rear window shades, and a nice panoramic moonroof, but you cannot get any air vents here. Don't worry, they're still over here. And again, more H pattern, more nice and chrome, but there's no separate climate zone, which I think at this price, there should be. However, another good feature for safety, rear side airbags. That's something I can't stress enough. A lot of car makers don't even offer that. Cargo space is very generous in the Santa Fe Hybrid, and it doesn't differ at all versus the gas-only model. 14.6 cubic feet behind the third row, 40.5 behind the second row, and when everything's folded, almost 80. EPA numbers are way up if you're choosing the hybrid. It's a couple grand more, but 35 city, 34 highway, 34 combined for the all-wheel drive model. When you compare that to an all-wheel drive gas-only model, it's significantly better. Thankfully, the power is still there. Instead of an 8-speed automatic, though, they're using a 6-speed, which is just interesting because so many automakers that make hybrids typically go the CVT route or a direct drive route. And Hyundai's using a 6-speed, and it's actually good because you do feel like you're more directly connected with the road. And compared with this turbocharged engine, it's a 1.6 liter, not very big, with a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery and the electric motor, you're looking at 231 horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque. And for a vehicle that's only a couple hundred pounds at most heavier, really doesn't really feel any different than driving a regular Santa Fe. And if anything, it's just a little more responsive. Quietness is always a big thing, on this calligraphy trim especially. It feels nice and damped. The ride is really well controlled. Steering is also nice and direct. There's really not really any slop. Some of the best Hyundai steering I've seen in quite a long time. I remember marking on that when I first test drove the Santa Fe, a regular one, when this launched for 2024. And the vehicle dynamics are just as good now. They really are. The appearance on the outside is trying to evoke Land Rover, but it certainly doesn't drive like one. Certainly car-like, and I think it drives better than the Tucson for sure. The Palisade, it's a bigger car for certain, and that one has a lot more float. So if you're shopping Hyundai and you really don't need the extra cargo space behind the third row or just a bigger third row period, Santa Fe is really where you should stop. Now, interestingly, there's a few driving modes. There's also 2 different braking modes. So when the car is stopped, you can actually switch it to Sport, and it will change the pedal feel, which is pretty unique. Genesis also offers that as well. And it really is just a matter of how the brake is, really feeling under your foot. Some people like a lighter pedal. I tend not to, but in this normal one, while it's a little squishy, I can get away with it. And also, when you take off again and just drive, the steering wheel paddles, when you're in normal mode, which is really eco here, what that does, it'll change the brake regen. So there's 3 different levels, and when you get off, you can really actually feel it, pretty significant. There's also an automatic mode, so if you hit the right paddle again, it'll actually use the radar sensors in front to automatically pace you with the car in front. And there's also 3 more levels on how that's gonna work, so it's kind of cool. And then, when you're in sport mode, now the paddle shifters switch to actual gears. That's pretty smart. I like that. Drive modes, again, right down here. Can swap pretty easy. Not much to relearn, and these digital displays, they're not very distracting. So among modern cars, I think the Santa Fe Hybrid is among the easier to drive and live with. It actually is. And most of all, I really think it's all about quietness. Even with school buses and all the traffic going by, you really feel like you're isolated in here. This curved display is actually 2 12.3-inch displays. Pretty simple to use. Wireless Apple CarPlay, all that good stuff. And also plenty of analog controls, so I can go to setup here, seek, volume. It's really good. Again, tuning, I like that. Manual climate controls as well. This is all touch sensitive, but again, it's always illuminated, it's always accessible. You don't have to go back and forth with anything, it's always here. Drive modes, all-wheel drive. Again, you got your phone chargers here. The only thing I don't really like is this shifter that's here, because the steering wheel actually blocks it. I wish it was just a normal shifter, or really anything but this one, but other than that, this is a pretty great interior. It's a great use of digital and analog together. There's lots of driver assistance features here. Highway Driving Assist 2 is only on these top trims, and you also get a few other things like, say, side safety, which will automatically brake the car using the parking sensors. Things like that, including rear emergency braking, are limited to either limited or calligraphy. So you gotta spend some more money to get all of the features that Hyundai offers. But these cameras, you gotta love those, right? Simple feature, but they're rendered particularly well here. And I just like that there's all the views and it's nice and clear. The instrument panel, also super easy to use. You can cycle through just a few views. There's no full screen maps. Driver assistance features are pretty basic, but this is what I particularly like on both sides. Cameras, blind spot cameras, it never fails. They're always so helpful to drive with. The 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid starts at $36,000. There's 4 trims, and the SE is the new base trim. As tested, this Calligraphy in Ultimate Red and all-wheel drive, and the destination fee, $53,000. For competitors, you could go smaller or bigger. The Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4 hybrids, Kia's Sorento or even the Telluride Hybrid, and the Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Then there's also the Mazda CX-70, which is a plug-in, or the Toyota Highlander Hybrid. There's not a lot of hybrid offerings in the midsize 3-row segment, and this one's pretty good. Now, as a Santa Fe, I'm not really a particular fan of the style. However, in calligraphy trim in this color, it's doing a decent job, I'd say, not the best job. I prefer some of the competitors, but for power and all the technology and, of course, the space and ease of use, that's a thing that Hyundai does really well again and again across all of its models. It's a really good choice. For this price, though, at the calligraphy's level of $53,000, you can shop up or you could shop down in terms of both size and price. So there's actually more choices if you have this budget. Now, what do you think? And if you want more reviews, go to CarGurus.com, see our YouTube channel, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.